Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, before we jump on into this specific message, let me just make one or two quick announcements. We are still dealing with internet stuff as I've moved into this new location and everything is different, but it seems to be getting worked out a little more every day. So here's hoping that that continues, but please do expect a few more bumps, I'm sure, before it's all better because there's such a litany of things that can be the problem. So hang in there. And then secondly, I am doing something that I used to do on my other channel. I'm bringing it back over there and over here. So each week starting on Monday, I will be going into, and it'll be on the specific messages because we always do at least one or two specific messages a week. But on just the specific messages, if it's titled that way, I'm going to leave comments on. And just if you want to write the word heal, HEAL, in the comments, that gets you entered to win. And every Monday, I will go and I will look through and I'll randomly pick somebody and I'll do a little storytelling for someone who entered to win. I just think instead of typing E like we do if I do like quick storytellings, that's just so it's fast for everybody. But I like, if we're going to do this, I always like to like pick a word that would be maybe something that like we're sending out to the universe. And it's so good to think about we're always healing and that we have the capacity to heal and we can heal each other and we can heal things in our life and things in the world around us. So that's the reason I'm picking that word. On the other channel, the word is compassion. But I just felt like that would be fun to do. So if you guys want, like I said, on just these specific messages, if I do a love tarot, the comments won't be on. It'll just be the specific ones and just type the word heal. I'll give you guys a reminder every time we do one of those. But then on Monday, I'll pick one random winner and I will go ahead and do a storytelling for that person. Last thing I wanted to mention, and please know I am so grateful to you guys. You have been so generous with me throughout the duration of my channel, the history of both of my channels, and I cannot thank you guys enough for your kindness, your support, your love, your niceness to me, to each other. And so many of you have gifted me so frequently. You've gifted me donations repetitiously, super chats. You've gifted each other free memberships. I mean, it's unbelievable. And for that reason, I like to say thank you as frequently as I can. But with that in mind, usually what I would do is if I felt like I could manage it, I'd be like, oh, let me do a little 3-card pull to say thank you. And it was, scattered and intermittent. But what I didn't realize and should have, so I apologize, is that it was appearing to others sometimes that I was actually selling stories. And I do not sell my stories. Never have, never will. When people give a super chat, it doesn't mean that I'm going to do a storytelling for them. There is only one scenario where I always say thank you and make sure that I get to somebody and give them a story. And that's in those rare moments where I go live and I specifically say we're doing storytellings like we did on Monday to celebrate the full moon. That in the scenario, if somebody gives me a super chat, I will absolutely give them a storytelling in that video. And that is because that's what we're doing at that point. But otherwise, all of the other lovely donations that people gift to me, I'm so appreciative of it. And when I can say thank you and I would do a little card pull here or there, that was because it fit into my schedule. But it is not something that I ever want to blur the lines and have people thinking that whatever donation they give now, I do a private reading or something. And that was misunderstood. And that is on me for not maybe pre-thinking that could have been misinterpreted. So I apologize. But in order to minimize that, I'm not going to be doing that anymore at all. Super chats, I'm so grateful for, but I'm not going to do any storytellings for, throughout the week and in other videos. If we're doing just storytellings to like celebrate the full moon, that would be different. But otherwise, I won't do that anymore because I don't want to confuse things. But please know, I don't mean to be rude about that either and say, well, it doesn't matter. It's not that. It's just I couldn't possibly keep up with the volume of, and I don't want to be on call like that either. And I don't want people to think I'm selling stories, telling when I'm not. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I said that as graciously as I intended to. I'm sure I could have said it better, but thank you guys so much. And please know your generosity is never not taken with such incredible humbleness and gratitude on my part. But forgive me for having confused or disappointed anybody who was thinking that I was selling stories. And if you give a donation, that you automatically get one at any point in time on the channel, because that I never intended that. So I apologize. And I'm going to do my part to withdraw and make sure that I don't confuse matters. All right. So now shall we go ahead and get to Um, our message right now. Oh, Leo, good. I'm so glad. So things are getting smoother. Okay, awesome. Hi, everybody. You guys are so wonderful. Lots of love to all of you. Okay, so for this storytelling, I was picturing somebody that was wearing a scarf, and it wasn't quite like a warm winter scarf. It was more something that was like floral print. It seemed like it was more for, like something that was kind of floating, kind of like chiffon or something in the wind that was just beautiful. Leah, you angel, thank you. Thank you so much, baby. Thank you for that beautiful donation. You're so kind. So kind. It felt like it was a fashion statement. It felt like it was, a pop of color that someone was wearing with an outfit. And so it was kind of blowing in the breeze. Now, obviously, if somebody is adding like sometimes just even a uniform, if everybody's wearing all the same, like all black or something for their job, but then they add that flash of color, it claims individuality. And I'm wondering if that's what this message is going to be about, or if it's going to be the thing that makes somebody go, wow, who is that with the scarf? We have an Emperor sideways. We have a 10 of Pentacles upright. We have a 6 of Swords upright. Okay, this could also be something is flittering by in the wind as somebody leaves stage left. I'm not sure how to take this just yet, but we do have strong Aries. EM, you sweetheart. EM, thank you so much. Oh my God. EM, thank you, sweetheart. You're so unbelievably kind and generous, and all these years, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. I'm so touched. You guys are amazing. We have a Queen of Wands. We have an 8 of Cups. We have the Hanged Man. This does look like somebody's leaving. We have 2 cards of leaving, and I'm going to say it's in connection with this Queen of Wands. And the individual who seems to be wondering what's going on, or delaying and trying to consider this from a different perspective, it may be him. Now, it could also be a little bit of both of them, but I'm thinking it's mostly our Emperor who is like watching her exit and is either sitting still wondering what to do about it, or, he holds this like a gift. I don't know, did he get here too late? Was he like just about to give her something and it's like, oh, she's gone. Oh, I guess I got here too late. Is that what it is? Do you feel like you got here too late and it's, all that's happening is you're seeing like the flitter of her scarf in the wind as she peels out and drives off? Nothing feels angry or anything like that, but it does feel like an Emperor had a gift to offer her, but she's gone somehow. We have the Wild card along with that 9 of Swords. Both people are disappointed. It's not angry, but both people are disappointed. Even here, when we saw her with that 8 of Cups, she did look back over her shoulder, kind of like lamenting, I guess I should just probably go. Maybe she felt silly hanging around. Maybe because it took a little while. Maybe she felt a little foolish. This is her being a little stressed out. But then with the Wild card, this is him kind of with these big old eyes. Like, I feel like both people are sitting here not quite knowing what to do because something happened with the opportunity that seems to have been like missed, like right at the time where they're holding this huge, beautiful loaf of sourdough and she's leaving. And he's like, I don't know what to do. She literally could have moved. I say that because we got like luggage on the top. She may have moved quite a distance away. This, looks like a trek across the desert. We have an 8 of Swords upright. That 8 of Swords is the energy of he's definitely sitting here not knowing what to do. He's not chasing. He's not doing anything other than like, well, hot damn, this didn't go as planned. 5 of Wands. He might be talking to a friend. I don't know if he's got a friend of like soccer. They kick the ball around and it's kind of like, it almost feels like somebody's consoling him, but they're also problem solving. 3 of Cups, they're definitely problem solving about her. Okay. So I'm going to say in this story, and please remember, I don't usually read for genders, but in the specific messages, we try to go with as much detail as we can. So we're going to say a masculine is talking to his buddy about her specifically and about her walking away, but they're not just talking, the problem solving. This is not the way the Emperor wanted things to go. This is also not the way the Queen of Wands wanted things to go. But for some reason, she felt like I probably feel foolish kind of waiting around. So let me shift over to her for just a second and ask, so Queen of Wands, were you waiting on him to give you that loaf of bread? Six of Swords, Justice card sideways. She is definitely like kind of, she's being unfair with herself. There's like this chagrin here. Like I'm so stupid. Yeah. I mean, I know better. You don't wait on people. You just keep moving on your own life. You don't think about someone, offering you something. You just go forward. And I feel like she's trying to brush this off because I think she is unfairly chastising herself. Like, it's foolish. I shouldn't have even thought he was going to offer me something. That's ridiculous. I shouldn't have even thought that. Page of Coins. I really think that she is trying to say, whatever I offered to him, you know what? When you do something, you just do it and then just carry on. I wonder if she's somebody who feels a little foolish if she made some kind of offering to him or leaned toward him. She may feel a little foolish for the way things ended up going. Five of Wands sideways. She wants to kind of stop thinking about this a little bit. That's the only reason she moved on. There's not anger. There's not like, oh, he did me dirty. There's more like her dealing with her own sense of like, I shouldn't have thought this anyway. I don't know what the heck I was thinking. But she knows better. Because we have the Justice and we have the Five of Wands, both sideways for her, she knows, even though she's trying to brush this off, and she did move on from the thought that they were going to offer her something. And she is saying, I know better than to think people are going to give me, like their attention. Like, I know better than to have thought that Emperor was going to ask me out or something like that. I know better. But the truth of it is she wasn't reading it wrong. And there's a piece of her note that knows it, but she keeps trying to distance herself from this, probably from the disappointment of it, or just to be like, oh, whatever. I just got to let this go. It's not a big deal. Two of Wands. She's telling herself, kind of viciously, I would almost say, if he had wanted to, he would have, but I'm sure he has better choices out there. And what I'm used to is if there's a choice between me and somebody else, it's always somebody else that they pick. I do feel like she's saying some pretty harsh things to herself that are not correct. She's saying, I was never a choice. I was just an option for him. That's the thing. That's the real reason she's moving on. I don't want to feel foolish and be the person who's waiting to be picked when, I'm just one of many options. I'm thinking she has been through this a few times for her to feel this way. But you know what? She is actually a Queen of Wands. And even within her dignity, like moving forward, even though we can see inside her internal dialogue is definitely kind of harsh, but we actually know the rest of the world sees her as absolutely stunning. There are so many people that would give anything to be with her. She may actually even intimidate a lot of people, whether or not she knows it. But she's used to not being chosen. Maybe a lot of people choose more accessible individuals than her because they're intimidated by her. But she's at that point where she's like, look, I don't want to feel foolish and wait for somebody to pick me, because they all honestly never really do. But it's not like I don't think I'm a worthwhile person. Like, I have good confidence. It's what allows me to move forward anyway. If somebody doesn't pick me, look, it's not like it hasn't happened before. I'll be fine. So we see both I'll say an insecurity, but also she's a very secure person at the same time, if that makes sense. I don't know if I've explained the dichotomy of that, how you can be secure in yourself, knowing that you have worth as a person, but also having been through the same routine a few dozen times and have learned, just let it go. Just let it roll off your back. You notice she's not mad. You notice she's not railing at the universe, but you also notice she's not really being 100% fair with this whole scenario. But she's chalking it up to the only way she could based off of her past experiences and what she believes to be true in this situation. Now let's turn back to him, because I don't know if he knew that lollygagging over here was going to, and I shouldn't say it that way. There's probably a reason he was not quite ready yet to offer her the big old loaf of bread. By the way, that is not a euphemism. But there was probably a reason. but his delay does seem to have impacted things. Let's see. On his side, okay, so we have a Three of Swords, we have a Two of Cups, we have a Two of Pentacles, and we have the Karma card, which is the Judgment card in any other deck. I'm going to just say it. I think he had a ton of emotion for her, and I think he was similarly. Look, these two have history, not together, but these two have life history, life experiences. He knows what it's like to kind of fall for somebody, feel a connection to them, and end up getting stabbed through the heart, metaphorically speaking. He knows what that feels like. He has a memory of it that's very sharp. And I'm not saying he's hung up on an ex. I'm just saying she's really important to him, or he feels really drawn to her. And that's been the thing where he's like, do I try this whole love thing again? I know how bad it can go when it goes bad. Do I try this whole love thing again? Because man, she's important to me, and I already know I'm really drawn. But yikes, be still my beating heart. Are you ready to do this again? Are you resilient again? Can we handle whatever comes next? So I kind of think that this Emperor, remember, he was sideways. He was somebody that's been debating. Am I ready for this? Because it's going to be a big risk. I really like her. I think she's a Two of Cups. What if I'm wrong? What if she smashes and crashes me to the ground? Can I dust off again? I think it's the only reason he was delaying. Not because it's like, oh, I don't know if I want her. Maybe I want somebody else. He was asking himself, am I resilient enough to take whatever comes? But unfortunately, this thing timed out and she left the scene. So I almost feel like this is a story of someone who never asked her out, and now she's just not coming around anymore. He didn't get around to asking her out. We got the Ace of Swords came out sideways. He definitely didn't get around to asking her out. Thought about it a lot. Maybe, did you not think though that she would probably detach at some point? Because you two clearly have been feeling the vibes. If she's over here saying, I should have known he was never gonna pick me, he's probably picking somebody else. And he's over here going, oh God, here I go. Like I didn't speak up in time, did I? But did he know that there was a finite amount of time that she might linger? And we got a Page of Wands, we got the Knight of Swords. He was this close. We're talking like the day or hours, minutes away from making his move. So no, it wasn't on his mind that I might be too late, because this was like, I don't know if he woke up in the morning and was like, you know what, I'm going to go do a few other things. But then before, 4:00 in the afternoon today, I'm so going to actually ask her out. Maybe he even expected to see her that day. And instead he sees her driving away, either literally, metaphorically, energetically, however we want to say that. Let me just ask, how did you see her like exiting, or how did you know she's out? Hanged Man, Five of Swords. Oh, he may have waited around for a bit, only to discover either something had been shut down. Maybe, he would normally see her at a certain time or a certain place, and she's not there. He kind of waits, then realizes either like this could be social media shut down. Maybe there was a way that they could have communicated. Maybe there's something here about like full stop. This Five of Swords, again, is not about fighting in this case. It's just the little fairies are holding the daggers, which minimizes the fact that they're daggers, right? Because they're fairies. Fairies aren't particularly, little Tinkerbells are not really very mean. And it's just stopping this dragonfly's progress. So I'm going to say it feels more like she's inaccessible all of a sudden. And it's like, oh my God. Well, okay, wait, maybe she'll be accessible again in just a minute. Nope, still not yet. And I think it was starting to click. I think she's kind of shut down and removed herself out of my orbit. I don't know exactly what that means. If this is two people that work together, then they're going to see each other again. But let's say this is, two people who work together, but then, she was moving to a different department and he kind of had like his last opportunity to talk to her, but then still thought, I'll still see her no matter what. And instead it's like somehow she's, sometimes you just think people end up like behind the glass wall, they work in a different area. It's not so easy to access him. Maybe she used to take a break at the same time. Now she doesn't. He hangs around the water cooler. She's not showing up. This could also be, like I said, maybe social media type of online thing. She's inaccessible. But it became clear, oh my God, I'm inaccessible. She's inaccessible to me. And I do think it was like right serendipitously, it was right at the time that he was ready to reach out. Can I ask, universe, why would that have happened? This almost seems like the plot for a movie where just when everything's supposed to work, then it doesn't. The universe says, slow your roll, cowboy. The universe did not want him to access her and we have to remember that Three of Swords was upright. The universe could be doing him a solid right now, whether or not he knows it. And I kind of do love this message on one hand, because I did think it was a little bit weird that the thing that held him back and kept him from being an emperor fully upright was, but I know too well what it feels like to be heartbroken. Well, everybody does. You're not the only one, darling. This, for him to say, but God, she feels so sweet. She feels like somebody that I could picture as a Two of Cups, and I'm vibing with her, and there's something really special here, but I'm afraid to try to take a real step toward her because, I could still get hurt. The universe is like, yes, and because you thought that, remember what came before you thought of reaching out to her? Ooh, hurt. Your first thought should be, this is awesome. I'm excited to move toward her. She's great. Definitely don't want to miss my chance with her. Then you could have said, I hope she doesn't hurt my heart. But instead you said, other people have hurt me. Boy, I hope I can have a thing with her. The universe is like, deal with the first order of business. This card came out first. You need to address this before you go toward her. You weren't ready and you knew it. And intuitively, that's why you hadn't moved toward her. And you were about to, but it is right when she withdrew. But maybe she was listening to a message from the universe that said, he's coming towards you, but he didn't deal with this yet. Run, just step back a couple paces. He needs 72 hours to deal with this first. He can't access you yet until he deals with this first. You don't want to deal with somebody who hasn't dealt with their own dirty laundry first. Let him wash his dirty laundry first and then let him approach. I kind of feel like the universe is just saying point blank, the reason you're not going to get access to her is because you didn't make her the priority. You made your heartbreak a priority. You've got to not make a heartbreak a priority. She needs to be your priority, especially if she's your Two of Cups. Queen of Cups. And look at this, the body language. She's literally pulling her cup back like, oh, she may as well be clutching her pearls here. We see her withdrawing her cup. This is very serendipitous, and it's also to preserve their chance to have a great relationship. Because if they had pursued this right now, we just got the Lovers in the reverse. By the way, I love this Lovers card. It is like my 1970s bang chicka bow bow. We have these, I don't know, there's just everything about their hair and everything just looks like, 1970s. I feel like everybody had the shaggy, like Barry Gibbs, hairstyles. And this always, I don't know why this card just so delights me with this very, like open, loving, they got no clothes on, but we only see their silhouettes, but I still, delicately cover them up. But these are my sexy, hairy 1970s people. It doesn't mean they're from the 70s or anything, but for some reason that always just delights me. I don't know why I love that card, because it makes me chuckle. But it says they would have blown this thing up. It would have been the wrong moment. It wasn't the right moment. It's better that she left stage left. Okay. Universe, does that mean then this, if it's good that she's not accessible, even though she withdrew at just the moment when he was ready to reach out, although he still was too wobbly to have done so properly for this romance to have been successful. So the universe either stepped in and was like, I'm going to, hang on, I've got to referee this. Y'all step back. You can't play together yet. Universe, what is your intention for these two then? Obviously giving them a moment. We have the Wheel of Fortune. We have the Hanged Man. We have the Fool. Okay, so this message definitely, the universe is like, listen, nobody ever has to wait for good stuff. In fact, your whole life, You have a heart that could love somebody. I'm not the one delaying anybody. Y'all can love and live your best life if you so choose to. But there are times where we have to be reborn and we decide how long that's going to take. We're After we're born into this earth and we become adults, we decide what experiences we allow to change us. We decide when we're done with an experience and we say, that's it. I got the lesson. I'm whole again. This is the new version of me, the updated 5.0 version. So I love the fact that the universe is like, these two can have a love story whenever they're ready, but they control when they're genuinely ready. Now he is coming across as the hanged man. She is coming across as the fool. She's ready for love. He seems to be wrapping up. I mean, this is a baby pretty fully formed, so he could go through that birth process. And it's really cool that we have a baby, and then the Fool card is the baby of the major arcana when somebody is born again and they're ready for their new journey. So I would just say that these two are just one beat apart, right? She's already born, he's about to be reborn. But the universe is like, they can do this anytime they want, could have already, but it does look like he's in the process of thinking, do I want to be reborn? She's already over here saying, ready for the adventure. And that's probably why we saw her moving forward, because she's like, I got to keep on moving. I don't want to waste any daylight, waiting for somebody who's not ready for me. Look, this storyline says the bear and the eagle are still headed toward each other. And I have to say, I think he's going to make up lost time. I'm going to say in this story, she seems like the bear and he seems like the eagle. Look, I think they're going to be able to catch back up to her. And I would say it's almost like, these are two souls that are, everybody's on their own cycle of life, right? And we definitely see them both having new cycles. But just because she's, already on her circumference around the earth, it doesn't mean he can't fly and make up time and come nose to nose with her, because this is where they meet. And by the way, this is the little happy hut of love for the bear and the eagle. We see their symbols here and we see the star in between, just like we have them headed for the same star here. It's actually a really nice completion for this story. These two will be able to end up on the same path. But it does have to be, there could be an important star, or perhaps is one of the planets being highly visible in the night sky. But it's like they're still on a collision course to end up in that 3 of Pentacles life, that 3 of, we're still going to get to each other. The universe is like, of course they are. There's a whole lot of love here, but prioritize what needs to be done first and then play catch up. He can catch up to her. He's going to go into eagle form. He's going to go into, and keep in mind, eagles, hawks, birds of prey, they have great strength in their talons. They have obviously the capacity to fly, and depending on which variety we're talking about, some are so fast, and great eyesight. So he'll be able to catch back up to her somehow. Can we see anything though, just right now for him? Yale Ruben, you sweetheart. Yale just gifted 2 memberships, SKE80 and Carmen Space Feeds. You guys are both members courtesy of Yale. D'Artagnan, Yale Ruben, thank you from my heart to yours, sweetheart. You are so kind, Yale. Unbelievable. Thank you for everything, sweetheart. You are so, so nice. So, so thoughtful. Those of you that are now members courtesy of Yale, just know it now means that you can access the members playlist. And there's each Monday I do a members only video, and you'll want to watch that I just posted on Monday, because I do a little intro and kind of let you guys know how the members corner works, so you can get all caught up and kind of know how to roll and have some fun with us in the members corner. Thank you so much, Yale. You sweetheart. This for him. We see him bummed. And remember, he was like, him and a buddy were kind of like talking about it, like, I blew it, man. She gone. I don't know what to do. Like, I was literally about to go talk to her. And he's like, the 5 of Wands is like when we spitball ideas and we analyze stuff. And he's got a buddy. Maybe they're playing soccer, football, depending on where in the world you are. But they're talking it out like, Oh, okay, no, I commiserate with you. You're bummed. You're bummed because she's already gone. You're feeling out in the cold. Here they are again, talking with the Five of Pentacles now. Okay, so it sounds like you really like her. Five of Cups is over here. You all these fives are great. Fives are numbers of change. So we know something's cooking, something's going on. They're trying to sort this out. They're problem solving. Him and a friend who seems like they're really on his side, like they want this emperor to have the best possible outcome. Maybe this is a conversation that needed to happen between these dudes. There's a lot to be said for, you know, males having true support in their life. We all need support, but in this story, maybe we really needed to see like that brotherhood, that, yeah, maybe this is his brother, but it's like he needed to maybe talk stuff out. Maybe that's actually going to be the conversation that was necessary to help him get beyond the fear of a heartbreak. Because if you notice, we have that Ace of Pentacles, and I almost think that, it could be that a kind of like wise friend asks him in this conversation, well, okay, so you're super bummed that you didn't reach out to her yet. What would you have done different? And why didn't you reach out to her though sooner? Maybe he brings up the elephant in the room, which is like, well, I guess I was still worried that I'd get heartbroken. And it's like, are you still scared you're going to get heartbroken? Well, yeah, but now that she's gone and inaccessible, I'm more worried that this sucks that she's gone. I didn't get a chance with her. That could be the friend pointing out, like, so that's it. You shouldn't have waited, because it hurts more to have her out of your reach right now than it would have to try things with her and not have held back and just gone for it. Okay, so now we know that the fear is suddenly lifted, because the fear of losing out on this shot is way bigger than the fear of like, should I reach out, and waiting and delaying and delaying and waiting. That's actually kind of a great point. And maybe it took a buddy calling it out to him, pointing it out to him. This is like in friendship. This isn't like, criticizing. This isn't like, here's what's wrong with you. Let me sit down and pick you apart. This is like a friend who's like commiserating, but in the midst of like just talking stuff out, playing soccer, sometimes real conversation comes out, and like the awareness is there where it's like, no, it sucks way more that I feel like I never got to cross that bridge with her. And that's my regret. I shouldn't have been scared of what if I get heartbroken. I should have been scared, what if I never get a chance to even try getting heartbroken by her? And it feels like that's such a change. We have a transformation in this moment. Maybe that's why he couldn't reach out to her. Maybe he needed to have this very important conversation with a friend. The friends, the companions, the brothers, the sisters, the people in our life are every bit as important as our lovers for our own like development. They're just as divine counterparts, right? Different, right? They're not maybe romantic partners, but our friends and the people that have our back. Sometimes I think we forget to even bring those relationships into these stories, because they can be so hyper focused on, a relationship between two people, or sometimes a karmic. And I'm kind of loving the twist in this, that the specific message here is, look at how valuable this friend, not the love relationship, but this friendship actually ended up making the biggest transformation for this character to get him, maybe to be able to live his very best life. All those fives came from the situation with her, but also the relationship with a friend who was able to like support him and point some things out in just kind of like a non-confrontational, friendly kind of way, maybe just spitballing. But man, this was a good talk. Let's see what that means then. If this is like the soccer game of a lifetime, they thought they were just kicking the ball around. It's like, no, you just changed the course of this man's life. We have the Sun. We have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the King of Pentacles. It's very much so what are you going to do? You really think it's the end of the road? If you really are that bummed that you didn't talk to her, are you sure there's no way you possibly could? And it's like, well, actually, no, that's true. Just because she's holding back from me doesn't mean I can't put in a little effort to maybe reach out to her still. There's a lot of different methods to reach out to somebody. Maybe we got to put some effort in, but why not? Well, now that kind of sounds like fun. Now it sounds like I got a quest. In fact, I'm digging it. I feel like this friend is more or less saying, or pointing out, go get your lady. You didn't pursue her. Now she's gone. But why is it the end of your road? Aren't you, an action taking, decision making kind of man? Then you can still reach out to her. She didn't tell you no. She's just not available because you never actually asked her out. So why don't you go find her? And I almost think that that simplifies everything. And it's like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. I'm hearing some little Troy coming on. I'm a baller, shot caller, 40-inch blades on the Impala. This feels like that's what he needed. He needed to not take the action. She needed to withdraw right when he was finally ready to take the action because the universe said, not right. You need to have this really important conversation with your bud. He's going to point something out to you. And he's a really important part of your relationship in your life. He's on your life path for a reason. He's your bestie or he's your brother. He's somebody that you're always going to need as that touchstone, but particularly right now. Can we see one message for whoever this friend is? Because we only see like the backdrop of him. And I feel like he's such an important person. Is this just going to be one of those messages that reminds us that the other relationships in our life are so valuable? Or is this going to be, we have the all gifted and we have the Queen of Swords. They are the voice of truth, and they can also be the voice of freaking chaos. We say that because, by the way, they could be a masculine in this lifetime, but maybe in a past life they were like a mother figure. Because look, the Queen of Swords can be the person who does not say things politely. She says things that need to be said. This is Pandora's box. And of course, in the story of Pandora's box, when that box is opened, it spills all of these negative things on planet Earth. And, it's basically like we've, opened up chaos. And so I want to say this friend could be somebody who's like a past life friend, somebody who they've gotten into trouble with before, somebody who in different lifetimes has completely like given them bad advice. Maybe they gotten into some, problems in past lives. But in this lifetime, this person is like, trying not to let's not screw up this lifetime. This could be two people that feel like they're brothers, whether or not they're blood relatives, but it could be because they had past lives together. They could have been hellions together, or this could have been like some kind of like parent-child relationship, or maybe an actual, familial member. But it feels like in this lifetime, let's make sure that we get it right. Let's not let the Pandora's box open. Let's not trash stuff this time around. Let's get stuff on track. And it's just so interesting because this is a friend who speaks truth, even if they say it in kind of blunt ways, or, but it's to help. This person is like a divine helper. And I will say, Pandora was gifted with all the Olympian gods' gifts. So even though she was mortal, she had the gifts of the gods. And so I'm just wondering if this person is very, very special in this emperor's life. It's kind of interesting. I don't think we've ever had a side character that was this important. Queen of Wands, Eight of Wands. They keep coming up as a feminine, even though we saw them as a masculine. So I'm going to say this is somebody who's really good at thinking from the feminine mindset. So maybe they're very at peace with their yin yang energy as well. Maybe that's why they're like, I know what women want. Or maybe they're in that energy of like, look, if I were in her shoes, here's how I would feel. Here's how I would want to be treated. So here's what I think you should do. Because they're getting in the head of the Queen of Wands, almost like they've been a queen in a past life themselves. They resonate very well with the feminine energy, even if they're coming across as a masculine in this lifetime. Super important that we all have, relationships in our life that can see different perspectives and bring different energies to us. That's so awesome because he's instrumental in helping this emperor see things, and then even possibly helping this emperor like find the right words to say. So very important. This is definitely going to be the best man at the wedding. That's all I can say. All right, you guys. So nice to see everybody. Awesome to catch you guys. Yell, Ruben. Aries is doing very well. Aries he's funny because he loves his new dog life, but he actually has more room to run. And so then he's way more tired because he's put in, I used to just walk him a ton. And he is so much more like off leash and roaming since I've moved. And then he sleeps like an angel baby. Now he's a little bit irritated with me at the moment. He's actually in the spare room, napping. Aries, he knows that this will be the last video that I do, and then we'll go take a break. But he was a little bit grumpy before I started this one because he thought we were going to take a break earlier. But he's in general, he loves his new house. He's very happy, so all is well. But you don't hear him bark very much right now, huh? It's because my baby's been super tired lately. Lightning Cass, good to see you. Bobby Harris, Vihan, Chrissy, so good to see you. Victoria Edwards, hi sweetheart. Bruce Reed, so nice to see you, Bruce. Love it. EM, hi V. Hetty, hi sweetheart. Pimp C Reincarnate, Annette Summersby, Terry A, Lilu Bell, Rhonda, Karen. Hang on. Aries. Aries, come to mama. Come here, big boy. Come here. Come here, little toenails. Come here. All the way around. Come here. Aries, come. Where are you? Aries. He's standing in the hallway staring at me. Anyway, Aries says hi, but he's demanding walkies. So we're going to take him out in just a minute. You guys, thanks again. Catherine Hart. Rebecca. Thank you guys. And again, welcome SKE80 and Carmen. EM. Thank you, sweetheart. Emma Lisa, Caitlin B, D Rogers, Rebecca S. Garcia. Thank you, love. Black Butterfly 25. Hi, hun. Earth Magic. Awesome to see you. Hi, T. Champer 679. Fees Mystic Faith. Mystical Visions. Awesome to see you. Hi, Rue. Calm C. Thank you, Lila Bell. Awesome to catch you. NES. Wonderful. Yeah, we'll get, after I take a break, when I come back later on tonight, we'll still do ophiuchus, Scorpio, Gemini. It's, I think, what we're still missing right now. And we'll get those done tonight. Right now on the other channel, we did do Sag, Aries, Taurus, Aquarius. Oh, I still need you to get Pisces today as well. And somebody asked me if we could do a little follow-up to our last Pisces video, and I think I'll try to squeeze in a little follow-up on that video as well. So I'm trying to get us caught up. Hi, Ruth, Violet, Caitlin B, Christina Evans. Delighted you're here. Hi, sweet. Are you a soccer fan, sweet? Deborah Abshire. Hi, sweetheart. Hi, Maria. Comsies, thank you. All right, everybody. Michelle Tressel. Oh, guys, just so you know, as soon as I bounce out of here, then the comment section will be available. And then just go ahead and type the word heal in the comments. That way you have ample time, anytime throughout the week. If I only had you guys put it in the chat, then it would only be like people that were live with me that get a chance to get a card pull. And I know that's just not possible. So I ask you guys to just type the word heal in the comment section to enter for Monday's drawing, simply because it gives everybody the same chances that, it's not like you have to be able to be live with me to still get a chance. So that's the only reason I do it that way. Hi, Jesse. Jay and Lalu, you were first in the house. Nikki O, you were second. Violet, you were third, which of course means you were first, Violet. And Denisa, so great to see you again today. All right, you guys, I'll see you again later on this evening. Lots of love. Bye for right now.